Hello beautiful people, welcome back to our YouTube channel. So today is just me alone. Sorry to disappoint, but today's story is one of a kind. Today I'm going to tell you a story of how I proposed to Joy. But before we start, I'm sure you'll be wondering, why do we post one video today and then we post another after a few days? Sometimes we go for a week without posting. Please bear with us. What I like making our fans understand is that this is not our daily bread activity. This is not what we do for a living. We started our YouTube channel because you asked, and we try to do our best to give you content every now and then. But we have our other jobs, our activities outside of our social media life. So it's just a balance, or trying to balance all those things: work outside, our own personal time, our family, so that we don't get too much invested in social media life that we forget to live. So you'll be noticing that we'll be posting video. We'll not forget about you. We are going to link up with you. And also remember that we have more than, how many? We have about four social media pages. We have we are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, we are on TikTok, where it all began, and now we are on YouTube, where you're watching us from. And we try to balance all these things together, and you'll notice that we'll be skipping posting in some platforms for a while as we try to balance. So if you don't see us on YouTube, we are posting on TikTok or Instagram. If you don't see us on TikTok or Instagram, we are posting on YouTube. So that's what I wanted you to understand. Now let's get into the story of how I proposed to my lovely wife, Joy. I'm sure most of you, if you have been following us from the beginning, you have watched the story of how Joy and I met. And we have told it and retold it. And I don't think I'm going to get into that. And we have told you so many stories about us, and we will continue doing that, especially me, okay? Because I'm sure, and I know for a fact, that it's gonna take a while before Joy sits here and gives you a story, but she will do her own content, her own style, and you have seen a couple, right? So let's get into it. Every man's dream is to do that one of a kind proposal, but not me. Like Joy always says, I am not romantic at all. I do my bare minimum. So mine was going to be a simple one. Take Joy somewhere nice, probably outside the country, and then as we are enjoying ourselves, Joy not suspecting anything, then I would pop up the question. It wasn't going to be out in the public. I don't like doing my stuff like that. And also it's because I knew Joy. Joy is a very private person, and there's no way I'm going to do a public proposal. Actually, I'm not a fan of that. Those people do it. You can continue doing it. You have guts, guys, but I will never suggest for you to do that for many reasons. One, you must understand your woman, understand what she likes, and most women don't like to be paraded out there. This one I know for a fact. They like, yes, it to be special, but they don't like it to be out there. Okay, I could be wrong. Anyway, that was my plan. And in 2020, I bought a ring. But you may be asking yourself, how did I get such a perfect ring that fitted Joy's fingers perfectly without her suspecting a thing? I came up with a plan, and the plan was I took the key rings, for those of you who use those, the key rings, and then I came up with a game where Joy and I were playing. We actually do a lot of those childish games in the house, and tulikuwa tunavishana pete. So I told Joy, can you try this one? Okay, so these are my vows. I'm going to marry you, and then I'm going to put a ring on you. And then I removed the key ring, and she laughed, and I gave her hers to put on mine. But what she didn't know was I was taking her finger measurement. And when she fitted the key ring, and it fitted perfectly, I put it aside and I started my quest to look for the perfect wedding ring. I wanted something that would last long, something, for those of you who know me, I know that I am a very frugal person. That means is you buy what you need when you need it. And that means for me, if I look for something, I'm not cheap, I go for the most expensive. It's because I want to do something for once and for all. I don't like buying cheap stuff or many cheap things. I buy what I need, and when I do quality. I do something expensive, and that's what I wanted. I wanted a ring that would act as an engagement ring as well as a wedding ring for Joy, until that time she decides, you know what, I want something different. And my idea was to get her gold ring, and that's what I started looking for. Remember, by this time, guys, we have just started the pandemic season. It's 2020. I stopped flying on March, actually February. Okay, my company stopped flying in March, I think April, going to April, but I had stopped flying a month before. Reason being is they were trying to reduce the risk exposure of guys, and therefore guys used to work in shift. So those who had a little experience and less leave days would work, and then those who had many leave days and much more experience were put aside, right, put on leave. And I was one of those guys who had many leaves, so I was put on leave from February. And to me, it had not clicked that this is a full-blown pandemic. The entire world is going to shut down. I thought it was something that was going to happen maybe for a week or two, you know, a month, and then it's going to be over. So I didn't care much. So what did I do? I decided to use my beautiful time to go searching for a perfect ring, calling friends who had married, asking them, okay, where did you get your ring? Did you like it? Blah, blah, blah. I ended up getting one shop online, and this shop is called Gem Essence, and it's located, they have many branches, but if you go to Westgate and you use, the basement parking, you go through, there's a gate where you go through, it's automatic, and there are some security personnel there who check you out. So you start from the basement going up using an escalator. By the way, I love that place. Let me digress a little bit, because that place, if you just enter the gate, this, like from the parking, just enter the gate. If you look to your immediate right, you'll see some guys who sell beautiful flowers there, and that's where I get Joy her flowers from. I never buy flowers from anywhere else, so I just go all the way to Westland. Is it Westland or Parklands? In Westgate, then buy flowers from there. Anyway, so from the basement parking, you go to the first floor, and then I believe there's a food court somewhere there, and then if you look to your left, the last shop, that's where Gem Essence is. So I went there, and I asked, I wanted, because I saw them online, and since I had the time and I didn't want to risk it, because Kanairo Manze, you never know. So I decided to take myself there, went, and so I walked into this shop, and actually once I confirmed they are genuine, they actually have the jewelry. Next thing was to order. They had an option of custom making my ring, where you leave them with your design and everything, and then but they also had some ready-made rings. So you know what, I didn't want to custom make a ring and then it's not into in what specification that Joy would love. But then I saw one that captured my eye, and it was like it was just beautiful. I decided, you know what, let me just go with this already made ring, and then tutajua ni aje. So I took the ring, put it on my finger, and actually it was super big. So I told these guys, can you do a resize? They told me, okay, sawa. What you're going to do is you're going to pay, and then you are going to leave the ring with us, and then we are going to resize it for you. Okay, so I left the key ring with them, and then and the ring, the actual ring with them. It was a 24 karat gold. I don't know if to say it was affordable or not, because I've come to find that affordability is relative, but it was affordable to me. I think it was around 58,000 Kenyan shilling, which was not bad, because in my mind I was thinking for a gold ring I'll get it for about 100 plus. So that was my budget. So when they told me 58,000, I was like, okay, cool. But then the Kikuyu in me tried to bargain. I got some few thousands off. Sio mingi sana, ni shop ya Muhindi. So but anyway, I left the ring with them, and I was going to pick it later on. Hata sikuwa na haraka. And actually told them to, what is it called, engrave it. And up to date, that's what it says. It says Joe and Joy forever. That's what the ring says. So I left them instruction, engrave this on the rings, and then resize it. Okay, so I paid the cash, full amount, and left. Went downstairs, picked some flowers, came and gave to Joy. Now life continued. I forgot about the ring because I was not in a hurry. Plus, I didn't want to pick it in a hurry and then start worrying about hiding it somewhere in the house. Joy could have found it. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to pick it wherever. But as days continued, things started getting tougher and tougher. We stopped flying completely, working. We were put on lockdown completely. Things were not actually happening. And I do not remember what happened to the shop. I don't know if they closed or what, but it took a very long time between the time I left the ring and going back to pick it. So anyway, time passes, and when things start opening up, I decided, you know what, I'm going to pick the ring. By this time, no one else is working other than Joy. I was just at home chilling, and if you saw us, that's when we started doing a TikTok video. You'll see me taking Joy to work, blah blah blah, all those things. The reason why Joy was still working is because she was considered as essential service. For those who know, she used to work for Kenya Airways, and she was in a department, in a customer service department. So they needed, even as airline stopped flying and closed ticketing and whatever, they still had clients to explain things to. So she continued going to work. I stayed at home, which wasn't that bad. So because I picked up habits here and there. Anyway, the shop opens and they call me, they tell me, you know what, your ring is ready. We have resized it, we have engraved it, and we have polished it. You can come pick. So I go pick it and keep it. So next thing I'm thinking of is I'm waiting for an opportunity to, now things have changed. You can no longer go outside the country. But I'm thinking, you know what, I'm gonna take Joy somewhere nice within Kenya, and then I'm gonna do my thing. But what we plan is not what happened. One day I received a call at around 10 a.m. I've just dropped Joy at work at 8. She calls me at 10 a.m. and I can hear a lot of noise in the background. Like there's a lot of noise, commotion, people shouting, people crying, people yelling. And She tells me things are bad. I ask her, what do you mean things are bad? Hey, it's bad here. Why? Because an order has come from above that guys will be fired from Kenya Airways. And I'm like, okay, so is your department affected? She tells me yes, everyone else has been told to go home and then they're going to figure out. So everyone else has been sent home and they leave only like 9 guys. Remember guys, at this point when Corona started, Joy was living at her place. I'm living at my place, but we meet now and then. Sometimes she spends at mine, and so okay, you understand. So she tells me to go and pick her, like always. So I drive to work where she works, pick her, and we go home. And at this point I'm thinking, you know what, you don't need to worry, because this is something that's affecting everyone. Things are gonna get better, because I'm always that guy, optimistic, always seeing the glass half full rather than half empty. And I tell her, you know what, things are going to get better, blah blah blah, such things. At this point it does not hit me that it's affecting her, and she's worried about her work. She's worried about how she's going to make ends meet, like parent, food, all those things. And this is what I understand. To her, even if we are dating, I have not shown commitment. To her, she's thinking, you know what, I'm still by myself, I'm still on my own, I cannot rely on another man, and that's how Joy is. But to me, I'm thinking, you know, you're my girlfriend, I'm still working, even if things don't go well, I still got you. But you see, that's what I'm thinking, and this is what she's thinking. And we have not talked about me taking care of her taking care of me. We're just coexisting, we're just dating, that's all. We're just having fun. We have not had that deep conversation. So she started getting worried. The next day, they were told to go home. No, actually, the day they were told to go home, the next day they'll get more information. And as day pass, 2 days pass, things get more clear, and it's an indefinite dismissal until things get better. Then they will be recalled. And remember, this is happening to everyone. It's happening to cabin crew, it's happening to engineers, it's happening to all departments, including a proposal to fire a few pilots. So everyone is affected. So things get serious, and at this point now I see her attitude has changed, and she becomes worried. She becomes worried because now things zimefanyika. I'm not her husband, I can change my mind anytime. She has rent to pay, she has food to eat with no salary, no job until further notice, and that starts stressing her out. And by it stressing her out, it's also stressing me. And as a man, I have to protect my woman from all these things. If I do care, and I'm thinking of proposing to her and marrying her, then I must show her that she has nothing to worry about, that I got her, and even in the time of need, in good times and in bad times. And this is one of those bad times that I have to prove and show her that, you know what, you got nothing to worry about. And I remember that time we were just sitting there, she's stressed, I'm there semi-stressed, but because she's stressed, we are also not flying, not working. We are on pay cut by this time, earning almost 40% of what I'm supposed to be earning. And I just can't look her in the eye. Actually, I don't do that. The first thing I do is I go to the bed, to the car because that's where I'm hiding the ring because I didn't want it to be anywhere in the house. So nimeifunga, go retrieve the ring, come back. The ring is at my back pocket. And I look at her, hold her hand, and I tell her, you know what? There's something I want to tell you. At this point, I see she's panicking because anything is possible, you know. When it rains, it pours. And misery loves company, you know. So I'm sure in her mind she's thinking, you know what, damn it, this is it. I don't have a job. This guy is gonna break up with me. And I start my not so romantic speech. And I talk about so many things I don't remember. I don't know if they were nonsense or not. But one thing I assure her is that we're in this together. I'm in this in the long haul. I'm gonna take care of her. And I don't want to see her ever worried. Yeah, that I love her, of course. I must say that. And to prove to her that I am committed, I asked her to be my wife. And I go on my one knee. And there with me on my hand is a 24-karat gold ring. Made bespoke to fit her finger only, not any other person. And at that point, she starts shaking. I see tears on her eyes. She doesn't believe if what's happening is true. And before she answers me, she asks me a question. Are you sure? And I tell her, as sure as days, I am sure. Well, she doesn't answer. She continues sobbing, crying, shaking even more. And then she nods yes. It's at that point that I slide the ring on her finger. And I hold her in my embrace until she stops crying before I can kiss her, but we're going to leave the details to there. The reason why I did that, it might seem as impromptu, but sometimes things don't always happen the way we plan them to happen. And I figured if I love this woman, I don't have to wait until a perfect time to propose, you know, because she's right here going through maybe the worst point of her, or one of the worst point of her life. What seems like losing a job, not knowing what tomorrow brings with the pandemic. You're not sure if you're gonna be alive. And I'm here thinking, you know what, if I was gonna do it later, why not now? Why not assure her now? Because an engagement ring is an assurance that, you know what, so many nice, so many jazz, and I'm gonna marry you. And it was the best thing I ever did, proposing at that time, because Ilimondria stress, and she started talking. She was all ears, smiling. As a matter of fact, as soon as I put the ring on her finger, she never stopped looking at it for like 3 hours. Calling people, taking photos, calling her sisters, taking photos, and all those things. And even as she was going to work to clear, because after you're between to stay at home until further notice, you know, you have to clear so that you're compensated for the time you have worked, blah blah blah, until you're waiting to be called, of which they did recall them, but then Joy was pregnant, heavy pregnant with a baby. Story for another time. But I told her, no need, you just relax, my promise is true, I'm gonna take care of you, no need to stress with the baby in you. So anyway, That's why I did it at that time, because it was the best opportunity, and that removed the stress away from her. It gave her a promise, a hope of a future. And that's the reason why people should propose. Not to show off, not to do anything, but to assure that woman you're with that you mean what you say, that your future is bright. That's how I did it, and that's how it happened. At the comfort of our own home, in the middle of a pandemic, not knowing what tomorrow brings, even for myself, but I took the leap of faith and made it happen. There's more to that story, but I'm gonna leave it there for now. Yeah. Until next time, don't forget to join or subscribe, follow, so that I can be giving you more of these stories. I have so much more stories to come, because most of you guys, I promised, and a promise is a debt. I promised you so many stories, my personal story, our stories, so many stories, and I'm gonna fulfill that promise to you, because I owe it to you. So I'll be doing this and combining doing Joy and letting Joy do her own thing. So this channel, you're going to see so many videos. And all right, till next time, take care, cheers, and we love you guys.